Productivity is essential for Skyblock players to get things done fast. That's why in today's video, I'll be going through some of the most useful items in Hypixel Skyblock. I won't be going over the obvious items such as the grappling hook and aspect of the end, but instead, items that are fairly new to the game. As always, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. We're on the road to 1000 subscribers and I'd really appreciate it. Plus, it's completely free. Also, if you haven't already, join my Discord. We hold weekly 10 million coin giveaways, with the only requirement being somewhat active in chat. I'd love to see you there. This video will be split into 3 segments: maneuverability, efficiency, and miscellaneous. Let's start with maneuverability. First of all, the aspect of the void. This diamond shovel is the upgraded version of the aspect of the end. Surprisingly, it doesn't have any usage requirements and costs around 12 million coins on the auction house. By itself, the aspect of the void isn't that much different to the aspect of the end, but when you pair it with an Etherwarp conduit and merger, it gains a special ability. The ability allows the player to teleport up to 57 blocks away by right-clicking while sneaking. The regular right-click works as if it was without the conduit. Because the ability is to teleport the player on top of the block they are looking at, you can teleport through ceilings and 1-block gaps, which can be extremely useful for getting secrets in dungeons. If you want to increase this range even further, you can combine the aspect of the void with transmission tuners on an anvil. There is only meant to be a maximum of 60 blocks travelled. For some very strange reason though, instead of the tuner increasing the range by 1 block as described, it increases it by 2. Therefore, you'll only require 2 transmission tuners and can travel up to 4 blocks further than the item's stock range. You would be silly not to have an aspect of the void in your hotbar at all times as your main teleportation tool. Almost every Skyblock pro does. Now a much more dungeons focused item, Bonzo Staff. I've classed the Bonzo Staff as a maneuverability item because of its ability's strong knockback. You'll see that almost every dungeon sweat has one of these in their inventory because it can tremendously speed up dungeon runs. You can actually use the Bonzo Staff balloons to propel yourself forward by looking at the ground, right-clicking and jumping just after. The technique does depend on your ping and is only useful in places where teleportation items can't be used, like the floor 7 boss fight. Another use of the Bonzo Staff is cheesing dungeon puzzles like Bomb Defuse. For the low price of 3 million coins, Bonzo Staff is a really useful item for dungeon players. The final maneuverability item is the Rogue Sword. Believe it or not, the handy golden sword is pretty much free. That is, as long as you didn't sell it in the early game. It's obtained by doing a quest for the NPC Jamie in the hub. If you have a decent amount of mana and are in need of speed, this sword is perfect for you. Its ability is to give the player plus 20% speed for the initial right click, and then plus 10 per additional click. This is a really useful item for players that need to get around to places fast without using teleportation items or have high ping. For context, teleportation items have a small delay for players on high ping. So next time you're playing dungeons or getting around to places, have a rogue sword in your hotbar ready to spam to gain lots of speed fast. Now onto the items that increase the efficiency of things. I'll start off with short bows. The Enderman Slayer update brought some powerful short bows into the game. Short bows are bows that don't need to be charged and instantly shoot with a tiny cooldown. The faster your attack speed is, the faster your short bow will shoot. Short bows are really good for a player to have in dungeons because for multiple puzzles such as creeper beams or blaze, it dramatically cuts down the time it takes to do them. The more expensive short bows like the Juju and Terminator can deal massive amounts of damage inside dungeons and are insane for Archer class. If you can't afford these bows though, get your hands on a 600 coin artisanal bow from the Weaponsmith Workshop. Short bows are essential for any player in Skyblock to have, whether you're a dungeons player or a miner. You need to have one. Have you ever taken a lot of damage and wished there were a way to avoid it? Well, there actually is. The Withercloak sword prevents a player from taking any sort of damage in exchange for 20% of their mana. The sword, being a low price of 4 million, is a must-have, especially paired with Ultimate Wise 5 for half the mana usage. The Withercloak sword is what helped so many players complete their fire trials in the park. It can also obviously be used in dungeons to prevent large amounts of damage taken from Wither skeletons and floor 7 lava. If a terminal in floor 7 is missed, no problem, use the sword to walk straight past Necron safely. All these reasons and more are why the Withercloak sword is known to be such a time saver and one of the most useful items for defense. Now onto miscellaneous. First of all, cookie boosters are getting increasingly more expensive and it's getting harder for players to afford them. The piggy bank can counter this problem with only costing around 70,000 and saving 100% of your purse on death. Now many of you probably have heard of this talisman, but I like to reinstate how important it is to own one. When you do die, the piggy bank will become cracked and only save 75% of your purse. any more deaths and it will not save any. Keep in mind that the piggy bank only saves coins if you have 20,000 or more in your purse, and you'll need to keep the talisman in your inventory. If your cookie booster runs out and you don't realize, you could lose millions. Trust me, you'd be devastated. So don't risk it and ensure you have a piggy bank active in your inventory. Wouldn't it be great if you could instantly delete the unwanted items that you picked up? Well, the admins thought of an answer to this solution. There's these personal deleters that delete your unwanted drops straight from your inventory. It's very similar to the personal compactor added into Skyblock a bit earlier. The personal compactor saves you from having to clear your inventory by crafting the enchanted form of the item. It does it all by itself. Now you've probably noticed that the enchanted forms of items are hardly worth as much as the non-enchanted. This is because compactors are overused. Instead of using compactors, sacks can hold all your drops, from gemstones to runes. Depending on the size of your sacks, you can store thousands of items which you can insta-sell to the bazaar or keep for later. Overall, these miscellaneous items have many uses and are quite essential for an average Skyblock player to own. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Don't forget to join my Discord. See ya!